Happy Wednesday everyone, this is Yuri. Welcome back to my video blog. This is episode 2 dedicated to 7 fundamental movement patterns. Why should we talk about 7 fundamental movement patterns? What is the big deal here? Well, I will tell you. First of all, these are the movements that we do in our daily life without even realizing it. We're squatting, we're walking, we're bending, we're lunging, and all these things are important for us to know and understand how to do in order to save energy and be effective in our everyday life. Number 2 is very important because we can utilize these movements in our workout and in our exercise regimen. We can do exercises targeted towards those movements as well as combination of those movements to really maximize our gains. And who does not like gains? I think everyone does, at least everyone I know. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and dive right in and find out what they are. So, 7 fundamental movement patterns are squat, lunge, bend, walk, push, pull, twist. So some of them obviously are very obvious, right? Squat, we don't need to talk a lot about that. We all know what that is. Lunge, probably the same thing. Simply taking a step forward, descending towards the ground, and then bringing your back leg forward. This is your lunge essentially. Bend, same thing. We're just bending. But the interesting thing about bend is that you can bend through your spine, when you're just reaching down, or you can hinge at the hip and maintaining neutral alignment of the spine. So hinging at the hip is super important when we are transitioning into strength training. So in order for us to do a good deadlift, for example, we have got to establish a good solid hip hinge. Once we have a good hip hinge, now we can activate hamstrings, glutes, and low back muscles appropriately in order to do deadlift safely and effectively. So this is one interesting thing about hip hinge right there. Gait and walk, also very obvious one. The cool thing about this one is that we can progress our gait to a run. In my opinion, running is the most accessible way to exercise. You don't need any equipment, you don't need anything besides just desire to get outside and simply run or walk. However, with that being said, running is by far one of the most technical exercises and movements that you will probably come across, because it's very important to understand how the technique actually come together, running technique there is. So how the foot should come in contact with the ground, what kind of muscles should be activated, the timing of the running, the work of the arms, the list goes on. So there's plenty of great articles online that we can research and ensure that our running is up to par before we actually start running a lot. A common mistake that I see is that people go from the couch without running at all, not running at all, jump into 5K or 10K initiatives, and sometimes that just ruins their bodies. It ruins their knees, it ruins their hips, ankles. So we just have to be mindful and progress accordingly to ensure that proper technique always comes first, okay? Then we have push and pull, also very obvious ones. So pushing things like push-ups, bench press, shoulder presses, pulling things like pull-ups, lat pull-downs, sitting rows, inverted rows. And then lastly we have twist. Twist is, in my opinion, one of the most underutilized movements out there. We mostly see people exercising in the gym, doing things like Russian twists, doing some bicycles while laying on the ground. And those things are okay, but there are so much more that you can do with twisting pattern. For instance, one of my favorite exercises is Turkish get-ups. Turkish get-ups is when you're starting laying on the ground, and then you get up by twisting and doing a sit-up first, and all of this happening while you're holding an object, a weight, over your head with your arm extended. And that's just a great exercise, one of the best in my opinion. Big time fat burning exercise, core exercise, shoulder stability exercise. So many benefits out there. So these are the 7 movements. Where do we go from here is the question. And why should we care? Well, combination of these movements will deliver a great workout, first of all. So for example, you can do squat with combination of lunges, maybe squatting down and then lunging forward, squatting down, lunging back. Just a quick example, right? This will really deliver even more calorie burning, more work time, more movement, more muscle engagement. So all these different benefits will be happening within that time frame as you're working. So besides these movements leading, or ability of those movements lead you to gains, some serious gains, these movements also will allow you to be more efficient at activities of daily living, right? So if you know how to control your body in space, chances are you will be able to adjust to demands of daily life, right? For example, if you stumble upon an object on the ground, you've done pushing, you've done hip hinging, you've done squatting, you will know how to control your body in space to adjust, maybe throw your arms to catch yourself, to protect your spine, to protect your head from hitting the pavement, right? So that's another reason why those things are important. It's preparation for real life, so to speak. Whew, deep stuff, deep. Good news for you. I have 5 of these movement patterns covered on my YouTube channel, GainsFinder. These 5 patterns are squats, lunges, hip hinge or deadlift. I specifically talk about deadlift. A push, I specifically talk about push-ups. There are 2 videos dedicated to that. And then pull, I specifically talk about inverted rows. So if you don't know where to start, you can start with these videos. They are pretty comprehensive, so please take advantage of those. And other than that, play around with them. Take 2 or 3 of those exercises, put it in your workout and see how it feels. If more so, furthermore, take maybe 6 or 7 of them and just make a workout out of them. Just do a workout dedicated to them and see how that feels. So these are just some great ideas for you to think outside of the box, some great ideas for you to innovate and be creative and not to be afraid to give it a try. I hope this information was useful to you. If you get stuck and you just don't know what to do, hit me with the comment. I will reply. I will do my best to help you out and to give you some additional ideas, and we'll get through it together, all right? So fear not, we got this. Have a wonderful day. Take care of yourself. I will catch you in the next episode. Until the next time, be well and never stop learning, my friends.